I said earlier this morning, it sounded so much better at 5 p.m. But that sounded good. Thank you. Okay, so the theme for our month is awaken. And as I said, I'm going to say it every week this month, not a destination, not awaken to something, very much what we just said, but an awakening meaning there's something inside that wants to awaken. There's something inside of me that is nudging me to awaken, insisting that I awaken. And what I've asked myself these last couple of weeks is, what does it take to awaken? What's it going to take me to really awaken to the truth of who I am? You know, sitting with Lori yesterday was very emotional. Well, it was emotional, but it was also a moment of what is going to happen in this moment? When that moment comes that we are done with this body and we move to the next, what happens? None of us know. We all think we know. Religion tries to tell us what's going to happen, and they all kind of tell us a different story. But what really is going to happen? That I was interested in that yesterday, as was Lori. She was like, I just don't know what's going to happen. I went, well, join the club. None of us know, but I do know it's good. I do know that whatever's going to happen next is a bigger expression of you. And I believe that. So if this is it's not a destination, but it's something within me. So how do I get there? How do I awaken? How do you awaken? And the only word I could come up with that I finally understood, which was also what we talked about yesterday, Lori and I, when I said to her, let go. You know you're done, so let go. Just let it happen. Surrender. Surrender. You know you're God. You know you are some part of, and actually all of, but in this one version called you. You know that's who you are, so surrender to it. That's how you're going to awaken. Stop fighting it. Stop arguing all the 10,000 yeah buts of why there's no way you could be God. Have you seen what I've done in my life? There's no way, if you look at everything you've done, that you can tell yourself you're God. I get all the why you think you can't, but it's time to surrender to why you can. So in terms of awakening, we have to learn how to surrender, which means we have to be willing to let go of all of our preconceived ideas of who we are. Surrender. Eckhart Tolle said this. He said, always say yes to the present. Always say yes to the present moment. Surrender to what is. So always say yes to the present moment, meaning right now, just say yes to you sitting here and listening to me. This is what you've signed up for these next 45 to 60 minutes. Oh, no one laughed. So you think I'm going to talk that long? Good luck. No. You have signed up to be here, so surrender to it. Don't be thinking about what you're going to do afterwards. Don't be thinking about the Christmas shopping you still have to do. Just be present in this moment. So he says, always say yes to the present moment. Surrender to what it is. Say yes to life and see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you. So the awakening that wants to happen inside of you starts with you saying, I'm ready. I'm here for it. I'm willing to allow that thing in me that is bigger than all the stuff I tell it to take over, to be the truth of who I am. That's how we awaken, by surrendering. So last week when we left here, Kevin and I were getting on a plane to fly to Rochester, which is where his family lives. And so we packed a very small bag, but I did pack winter clothing. And when we got there, it was like 12 degrees. And there was a blizzard happening. There was snow all over the place, which I love. I was like, just want to see snow. To which his family said, you shouldn't have come, because we don't want that energy here. But it snowed the whole time I was there, right? Yeah, there was one moment I was sitting in his aunt's house in the basement, and they had a big blow-up snowman right out my window, and lights everywhere, and and I'm in a Barca lounger. It was just great, and I'm watching the blizzard outside, and I was like, this is exactly why I came. But if I went up into the kitchen, then I would be like, the snow's got to stop. It's just never stopped snowing. So the perspective is very interesting. But I wanted it to snow, and it did. And I had a beautiful time. But that's not the story I'm here to tell you. Rochester's for me, a very slow town. I don't mean mentally slow, but just it's slow in relationship to the fast pace of Los Angeles, or God forbid, New York City. And when I got there, I was informed that our big event for the week of the 3 nights we would be there was a dart tournament that his brother and sister-in-law would be competing in on opposite teams. And we were going to a bar called Bathtub Billy's to watch this dart tournament. I likened it to watching paint dry, and was not really, they didn't like that idea. But I was like, you know what? Surrender. What does Eckhart Tolle say? I have no idea what he says. He says, always say yes to the present moment, surrender to what is. Well, you're in Rochester, darts is the thing. So I was like, wasn't I nice about it? I was like, you know what? I'm good. So I went and I sat the closest to the dartboard so I could see what was going on. And for 3 hours, because it's not a game of darts, it's 10 games of darts. Yeah. And there are 3 people on each team. So they were all, it was interesting. And there was a lot of beer, and I don't drink beer, but I did that night. I drank a whole pitcher of beer. In fact, I was the one that said, could we get another pitcher over here? Mine's running out, and there's a lot more darts down. And the worst part was, the darts that were being played was in this part of the bar, but right behind us was the karaoke night. Now, karaoke night, I like karaoke usually, but I clearly, what we know as karaoke is not what happens around this country. Because, you know, when we're at karaoke night, it's like every Broadway star is in there singing. This was not that. And it was like this one guy got up to throw a dart, and this girl hit a note, and he went, someone kill her. And so that's it. And I'm just drinking the beer going, good for you. And so, why am I telling you this story? Because somewhere around game 6, I think, 5 or 6, I was really fascinated with the darts. I was fascinated with the hand-eye coordination. I was fascinated with what person's consciousness can actually direct. Can my consciousness direct the dart to exactly where I want it to go? Can I use my mind like a dart? Can I take my thoughts and literally get exactly what I'm aiming at? Which is what you just mentioned. Can I actually create what I want when I want it? The answer is yes. And after darts, we went back to his brother's house for more darts in his basement, because he had a dart thing in the basement. And I played every game. And I won the first game. With all these dart players, I won the first game. I did not win the next few. But I won the first game, didn't I?
The first game was you, me, and another person, so not the dart player.
Oh, never mind. So, who was the other person? It was the dart player.
Maybe it was.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, the better thing to say is I beat Kevin. So my mind is all about these darts and about like our thoughts, our beliefs. Our beliefs. The belief I have in life is me, is the person that grabs the dart. The thing I pick up, the dart, is the desire. So I am the belief, this is the desire. Now my beliefs create my world experience. So my beliefs is what tell the desire I have whether or not it's going to hit the bullseye. Because sometimes I may be a belief and I'm going to hit that bullseye, and then there's another little belief next to me saying, you'll probably only make it to about the 20, which is right above the bullseye. See how much I picked up in Rochester? So I'm thinking about this. I'm like, so it's all these core beliefs that stop people from getting. Did you ever hear somebody get up to do something and they tell themselves they're not going to be able to do it as they're starting it? That happens a lot. I think Kathy, your sister-in-law, got up one and said, I'll never get this. And I was like, no, of course you, and so it is. Right? So that's the way we use our minds. So that isn't even also what I was going to tell you about that night. But it was a really fascinating moment for me. And I wish you could have all just seen me sitting on this bar stool, staring at darts and drinking beer in a way that I have never done or a time that I've never spent in that type of activity. About halfway through the night, I'm looking around and I'm seeing even the girl that would not give up singing karaoke. And she literally, not only was she tone deaf, could not hit one note, she also had no concept for rhythm. So it was like, I think the one thing she sang, not White Christmas, she sang some Christmas, Oh Holy Night. Why on earth, if you know you can't sing, you sing Santa Baby. You don't sing Oh Holy Night. Santa Baby's easy. Santa Baby. You still have to have rhythm. So she got up and she started singing, Oh Holy Night, night. And it was like fingernails on a chalkboard. However, all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, she's having a ball. She's doing what she's here to do, enjoy life. So what if she's ruining the rest of it for all of us? She is enjoying her life, her night. And I'm looking at her sing. I'm looking at all of her friends cheering her on. And I was like, good for you. You found the only 4 people in Rochester who can listen to you sing. And it works. Like attracts like. I then look back at the dartboard and I watch my family, Kevin's family, but my family, all laughing and having the most fun. And they were doing nothing. They were playing darts and singing badly. And I sat there and I got tears in my eyes and I thought to myself, we overcomplicate life. I said, when was the last time we really just went out and, well, we don't play darts. We will now. We're buying a dart machine. We're buying a dart thing for our house. I love it. But when was the last time you just went out for no reason? Where you just were with your friends for no reason, where you just allowed life to be what it was, where you weren't trying to accomplish something, get something done, finish the work you know you needed to do all the things that we think we have to do because somewhere along the line we were told we have to accomplish this in life. When I sat there yesterday morning and looked at Laurie and saw all that she had accomplished in her life, I thought to myself, we're all going to be in this exact same place. Who do I want to be when I'm there? Don't I want to know that I've lived every ounce of life out of this body that could possibly be lived? Don't I want to know that I made myself happy and those around me happy? Don't I want to know that? Isn't my happiness, my joy, the number one thing that is paramount of importance in my life? It must be. Because I got to tell you, if every single person in this center here this morning were jubilously happy, filled with joy, nothing wrong whatsoever, the outlook was just everything is good, it's all great, what do you think that would do to this world? Where would we go as a culture if everyone's primary focus was to be happy? Was just to enjoy life, to be in the joy of life. That's what Thomas Troward teaches us. Then, no matter what we're doing, we are committed. As the belief of my life, I'm committed to be happy, to be in joy, in the joy of life. Now when I throw my darts, I'm going to hit the bullseye of joy, the bullseye of happiness, the bullseye of success, the bullseye of physical perfection, the bullseye of amazing relationships. That's how we live this teaching. And that's what we have to wake up to. We have to awaken to the truth of reality. I am not my body. I am not my successes. I am not my failures. I'm not any of it. I am the joy of life. So the title of my talk today is, that's it. That's the whole thing. By design. I would have thought when I said, just give me the big title in the center of a canvas. That's not what I had in mind. Okay, however it works for me, I'll tell you why. Because the whole concept is there's nothing up there except my talk title. You have to put it up there. You have to decide. What's the picture you want to see of your life? Marty Kartalian did her first meditation this morning, and do you have your quote there? Could you hand me that quote? The quote she gave is exactly what the point of my talk is. Now, she couldn't have known that because she just pulled out a quote, but it was, you know what, I'll paraphrase it. Her quote was something about, no, I won't. Could you give me that? You got it?
Yeah, hold on. Give me 1 second and I'll get it for you. Here you go.
You are the best. And your eyeshadow's even the better.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, here it is. His name is, I'm going to hand this right back to you, Baird D. Spalding. Healing is awakening to the perfection that already is ours. Awakening to the perfection, thank you, that is already ours. So my talk title is By Design. And the reason my talk title is By Design, I had to ask myself, and I've been asking myself, and certainly yesterday I asked myself, what am I made of? What made me? And not this isn't a God question. It's like, what God made me? No. What made me the man I am today standing here at 65 years old as a spiritual director of an amazing spiritual center, yet all the other various things I do in my life? What made me, right on the heels of what you were just talking about? You know, what made me who I am? Who designed me? Did I design me? Well, I designed what I have turned into. I've designed the person you see before you. Yvonne designed the little old lady you see sitting here. Right? All these 4 women designed their costumes. They've designed a character. I know you think it's really you. You're so in character. They've designed these characters, right? But you know what? Even though they sit here in costumes, and they don't think that, but they sit here in costumes, you're all sitting there in costumes. We are all walking the planet in costumes. We are walking the planet as the characters we've created today. Even our sexuality. You know, people will refer to me as a gay man. I do not consider myself a gay man. That's not my identity. You know, my sexuality is extraordinarily expansive. Yes, I've been married to the Sandman for 32 years. So the Sandman. Did it sound like I said, I've been married to the Sandman? I've been married to the same man for 32 years. But we all keep putting ourselves in these boxes and telling ourselves that the design that we've created is who we truly are. And yet we're being asked to awaken to something bigger. We are asked to awaken to something that blows apart all of the facade you've created as you. By design, the whole point of by design means that we don't have to design anything. It already is. My perfection already is. I think I've done a pretty good job with it in my life. That's our journey. What are you going to do with the perfection that you are? Are you going to abuse it? You know, Eric talked about habits. I mean, he didn't use the word, but that's what he was talking about, these beliefs, these constant beliefs. What are you going to do with your mind? This perfect mind that you have, this perfect beingness that you are, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to design from that? You are already, by design, perfect. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to allow yourself to awaken to? Ralph Waldo Emerson said this: every particular in nature, a leaf, a drop, a crystal, a moment of time, is related to the whole and partakes of the perfection of the whole. Every particular in nature, a leaf, a drop, a crystal, a moment of time, is related to the whole, to all of it, and partakes of the perfection of the whole. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson saying the same thing we're now saying in 2019. Way back then. Understanding it's all perfection. It is all God, and it's what and who each one of us is. By design. Meaning you do not have to go do anything to really tap into the perfection that you are. By design. You were designed that way. Because that's how life unfolds. So, I think it's time for us to awaken to a much simpler life. Awaken to darts. Awaken to joy. Awaken to... So, we come back from New York, and Friday morning, I guess when did we get back? Thursday. I got up on Friday morning, and I'm laying on my floor, and I'm rolling my back out with one of those foam rollers, And I'm rolling my back out, and my knees are up so I can see straight through my knees out my bedroom window. And I see that someone has moved. I have a Kuan Yin in my backyard. Someone has moved my Kuan Yin from where I had it to a different part of the yard. And I was like, who would move my Kuan Yin? And I turned to look to where it was, and there it was. Oh, the Kuan Yin's had a baby. There are 2 Kuan Yins. And then I notice not only is it a different Kuan Yin, but it's wet. It's got water trickling down from it. And what had happened was, while we were in New York, Nick Williams and his men came into my backyard and put a Kuan Yin fountain in the back of my deck with a light in front of it and I was just like, I got up, I was in my underpants, I got up and ran out back and looked at this Kuan Yin, and I touched it to make sure I wasn't, dreaming or something. I was still at the dart game, and I had way too much beer, and it was just spectacular. And the reason I bring that up, besides just saying you guys are just amazing, the joy of life is about the simple things. The joy of life is about, and I stood there looking at this Kuan Yin thinking, how much time do I actually spend in this gorgeous backyard? What a garden, my outside garden. How much of your time do you spend doing the things that bring you joy? And if the answer isn't at least 51% of your time, then we need some work. Then we have work to do. It really should be more like 100% of your time, because it's up to us to make what we do joyful. So, every particular in nature, a leaf, a drop, a crystal, a moment of time is related to the whole. If my life has already been designed as pure perfection, and if my job is purely to awaken to it, to allow myself to awaken to it, what must I do to be able to awake? Well, as I said earlier, surrender. And if I'm going to surrender, what am I going to surrender? So it's not just about I surrender, I give up, just bring whatever's best for me. No, it's also I have to surrender my crap. How many of you still have stuff that you allow to literally take over your mind? How many of you still let these niggly things go on in your mind, beliefs, problems, whatever you think it is, and derail you from having a joyful life? It is time for us to surrender everything that does not work for us. And we must start remembering who we are, that by design we're perfect, absolutely perfect. Yesterday morning, I told Lori I would be there every day. I said, you know what, I'm going to be here every day until you decide that you're done. I didn't know it was just going to be yesterday. But letting go of a life. She did it brilliantly in the last 24 hours, but we can do it while we're alive. I don't need to pass away to let go. When you see someone lying in a bed, knowing that they will be gone shortly, and you realize that all the things that they have in their possession, all the things they own, all of the things that they think they still need to get accomplished and take care of, none of it matters in that moment. You're not taking it with you. None of it matters. It's a matter of surrendering it all. And as Kevin will tell you, I came home and I was very moved and very, I don't want to use the word disturbed in a negative way, but I was disturbed, but in a positive way, because it disturbed me enough to make me think. What do I need to let go of? And the answer is everything. Just surrender all of it, and then allow all of it to be used for joy. I will love that fountain. I will love sitting in front of it, meditating. I will love darts when we get our dartboard. We haven't figured out where to put it, but we will put it somewhere, and I will play darts and invite people over to do nothing but throw darts and drink. Not beer, but yeah. So, I want to put a bowling team together for this congregation. I want to do a thing called Mind Over Bowling. Put like 8 teams together, and we all play like a 10-week series of just bowling. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. And just bowling. It's not about winning or, well, It is not about winning or losing. It is about just bowling to the best of your ability. And bingo. I just want to come here on January 11th. And I just want to sit in this room and watch these women call bingo for no other reason than to play bingo. Yes, is it a fundraiser for the center? Yes, but I don't want all the sturm and drang around fundraising for the center. I like fundraising for the center that brings profit. I just made that up, and we're going to go with that. Fundraising. It's time for us as a community to start having fun, yes? Right. So yes, I want you all to be successful. Yes, I want everyone to be vibrantly healthy. Yes, I want you to find the best relationships you can have in your life. Yes, I want you to just have the most amazing lives. But within all of that, I want you to enjoy it while you're doing it. And that's what I want, because I was built that way by design. It's time to get all the rest of the stuff out of the world. Surrender Dorothy. That is what we need to do. Just say, I am done. I've been to Oz, it was a facade, and the truth is right here, right where I am, God is. And if I am God, I better sure as hell start living as God and not thinking that I'm going to find it the moment I pass over. Because I think when I pass over, it's just going to be a bigger place for me to be even bigger. Does that sound good to y'all? Yes. Namaste. Thank you.